Hey team, how we going? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and I will be with you in a couple more minutes. I just want this to ferment a little bit as people turn up and understand we're live, we're on here, and there's bigger problems than what we have. We'll be discussing this tonight. A video came out basically yesterday to the day before about the poorest country in the world. And we'll be covering that tonight. And what I'd like people to think of is, what the hell do we whinge for sometimes? Is it the fact that we are absolutely not transparent to the problems of the rest of the world? Is it that we get caught inside our own tornado of pity at times, that our problems seem more relative? Hey Jared, how you going, mate? Hey Joshy, Lauren, everyone's here. We've got a delegate about to go out on his defensive operations before he actually moves on to his Skippy badge, hardcore, etc. So he hasn't got long to go, but tomorrow is going to be one of the hardest days of his life. 24 hours, at least with no sleep, on his knees, as his hands crumble with an entrenching tool and a buddy to share the pit with. It won't stop, the weather may suck, and the job must get done. So his problems are very real at the moment. Some of us, is it poverty? Okay, is it off-pay week? Is it love? Everyone has their own cards. It's like a big game of Uno. And sometimes you don't realise that you've got wild cards in your hand that you just didn't get to play. So what we're going to do is step outside our world tonight and look into the world of another countries and ask ourselves, what could have we done different? I'm going to call my daughter for a second now. I'll be back. So there you go, team. I just had my favourite little girl ring me up to say good night. I said, do you miss me? She said, but I've seen you today. We can't win. This thumbnail sort of says it all, doesn't it? Yep. Black Lives Matter in the USA because they have a vote. But those in the Congo, not so much. Imagine if you could make a difference today. You're about to hear some facts and you're about to see some shocking things. I never give warnings about what you're about to see because it's about reality. And we shouldn't have to give warnings about reality. We should give you exposures to reality. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel because that in fact gives you the freedom of speech on this channel. You can comment there, make friends with people, have banter, broaden your horizons, give your opinion, change mine. But the only way to do that is to be a subscriber. If you want a little bit more, okay, you can join our Patreon. But I haven't put the link below because it's not about me today. It's about the independent journalist who is on a mission to bring information, exposure, clarity, and maybe action to those that need it a hell of a lot more than we do. Now, I'm not exaggerating when I say that the people we're going to cover tonight would swap places with someone with cancer in a Western world just for another 6 months to a year with a little bit of hope and some level of protection from the elements, from crime, from famine, and from any number of diseases and sicknesses, including the bubonic plague, that can be found in Burundi. Now, that's the country we speak of. I used to live in Rwanda, which touches Burundi, Central Africa, Eastern Africa, which we've only not caught. Before we go too far into that, how about I just give you the introduction and shut me up for a second? G'day, guys. Mama. No, your mama. Huh. Hey, team, how we going? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and I'm here tonight to tackle a live stream reaction video to a video call that came out yesterday, the poorest country in the world, which is Burundi. I used to live to the north of that in Rwanda, Central Africa, Eastern Africa, if you will. Small place, population 12.3 million. It is the poorest country in the world, and it has been for 62 years. What can we do about it? What should we do about it? Are you allowed to even have a solution without being called white saviour or something? Whatever matters is to do with action. But now we know about Burundi. I didn't realise it was that bad when I was there, but now I do. And now it's our turn to have a look at this. I'm not going to go any further into this other than to give you freedom of speech and put in comments. What could we do? What should we do to improve the lives of these people that are on $270 a family a year? Not a month, not a week, a year. That's my coffee bill for the month. Insane. Insane. Stay with me, subscribe, and let's see what we can do to activate a movement and maybe in some kind of way make a difference. We always make a difference, but it's just whether it's macro or micro. All right, team. See you in a minute. But get your questions ready. And let's put our judgment on the shelf and just think about solutions, because that's what it really matters. These people swap lives with someone with cancer in Australia just to get out of the position they're in so they could have air conditioning, water, and maybe some electricity. So let's look at that. Boom. Stevie Bryce, how you going, mate? Comes from the wilderness of Mad Max in the land of the single mums. I hope you're well, mate. Thanks for your donation. We'll call it Bush Pay. That'll go towards me $270 a month coffee fund. We've got Jay there. Miss the old background and Derek. Derek's next door. He's there on top of Barbie. For those that don't know, it's a long story. Dave D, g'day, mate. How you going? This is such an important video. To everyone that's wondering, Kaz, the trenches, why are we talking about this one tonight? I'm going to explain to you. As a veteran, talking to future veterans, potentially, and those that put their life on the line, you need to understand the countries in advance that you could be helping, whether it be humanitarian, whether it be police or peacemaking, keeping, or conventional. There is countries you will not have heard of. There is people who scream into the night and know that no one is coming, where to be a superhero you don't need a cape, you just need a heart. They cannot help themselves. More than 10,000 years of civilization, and they're on $270 a year. My solution, we're about to watch the video, at least 10 minutes of it, to give you an in-depth, journey. Okay, so you can watch the rest of it on the link below in comments. My idea of a solution, and the only one that I can think of, is colonization across a lot of African countries, where Westerners move to these countries and get paid a disgusting amount of money to not be corrupt, to stay there, and to make a difference as they gentrify areas, bring in the health standards, bring in electricity, bring in jobs, give jobs, healthcare, give hope, get rid of the corruption, be the arbitrator, the referee of common sense, and that becomes your mantle to change the life of others. Who would do that for a job without qualification other than a sign-on I will not leave their contract. So to me, I believe the only way to fix this problem is colonisation. There'd be people say that's horrible. I don't think it's hurt any country. Okay, it always brings them up, gives them better everything standard. It's not until our mortality rate is where it is now, where people take for granted that you're probably going to live to 100, even if you live on KFC. So let's go and check this out. Let's get into it and see this sad tale of events as we look into Burundi spelt right there. Okay, here he is. Guys and gals, we're about to watch it. I'm just going to get it sorted out for you. So the best viewing pleasure. I won't be able to see your comments at all, team. I won't be able to see them at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the floor up to Lauren now. And I'm going to bring her on board. I'll get out of the way a bit. And we're going to watch this. So Lauren, I hope you're ready. She's had a hot date today. Stay with us, team. Let us know if you're new here. And guys and gals, this should change our lives. And these people right now.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? I was wondering if I could have you monitoring the comments there, my dear.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, I just had to quickly turn you down. I must have a bit of lag. Okay, yeah, I'm here because I just want to say that what you said just before, I know everyone's still just saying g'day and that to each other, but it was really important, and it's controversial to talk about like that as a solution, but I 100% agree.
Yep, and basically it comes down to if someone doesn't have a better solution, and remember, this is 62 years this country has taken out the first place for the poorest country in the world, I guarantee they don't get offended about words. They don't get offended about anything other than their family being in danger. Nothing is more offensive than a mortality rate where children don't make it to their birthday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, God, it breaks my heart. I'd never even heard of this nation until you told me about it. And I feel awful that I never even spared a thought for these people and dared feel sorry for myself sometimes.
It's one of those things, you know. Hey, Kane, how you going? No more donations from you, please, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Kane.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to break my phone with this power that I call my right hand of righteousness. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
This guy is a legend. This guy has chose action. Here he is.
I won't be able to hear it, but I'm ready.
Okay. He does sound like Borat. Let's pause that for a second. It has also taken out the award for the unhappiest country in the world.
Oh, that's terrible.
That breaks my heart.
Oh.
And these are Christian nation.
Oh, them faces.
Yeah, and you just think to yourself, you don't want that award. Winning isn't always what you want, is it? So sad. Guess who's here? Oh. Robin.
Yeah, Robin's here. Someone suggested that we send Deadpool in to solve the problem, but we've only got Robin. He'll have to do. Well,
the only thing that, even if he was Deadpool, you know, does that mean he just can't be injured by famine?
Yeah.
What? And remember when we were talking about it, they can actually get the plague there. They can get
the plague is still there.
Malaria, all of these things that don't exist over here.
Yeah, I was horrified when I had a quick look at the infant mortality and what their biggest diseases are, and I couldn't believe it. These are things that we might have died of 100 years ago or more, and these people still have to live with this in these conditions. Look at those streets.
Yeah, put things into perspective. Yeah. In Australia, we say, hey, can I pat your dog? Over there, the dogs have rabies, and there's no cure for that.
Okay, they can't hear the sound from the video.
Oh.
Do you have an audio output set up on the
Wait,
stream?
wait.
Yeah.
It's because it's not on at the moment.
Maybe that little bit that they heard they're saying they couldn't hear.
Desktop audio.
Mind you, the visuals are pretty heartbreaking themselves.
Yeah, let's see if this works. We'll take it back for a sec.
We are in Burundi, which has been chosen as per the analysis
Give us a
reports
sound
of
check.
the
Is that
World
better
Bank,
too?
IMF, and many other official institutions as the poorest country in the world almost every year in the last 62 years. The country has a population of approximately 12.5 million and its people live in such great poverty that it is also known as the unhappiest country in the world, and the annual income of the average working citizen is approximately $180. Although the
$180 a year.
David Penson can hear.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, and David Penson would see his fair share of poverty, but this is beyond. This is...
And there's a difference between not knowing what you don't have and actually playing with the rock that you got for Christmas. You're going, a rock is not a Christmas present.
Oh, God. And just the eyes of the people. Oh.
They age too quickly. Okay, we're going back on.
The unemployment rate in the country is not known. 1 out of every 3 people is thought to be unemployed. Imagine that if you are lucky to be able to work day and night. Your monthly salary is only $15 and you have to support a family of 8. Welcome to the world's poorest and unhappiest country. When we landed at Bujumbura International Airport, the only airport in the country with asphalt runway, we were very surprised when we looked at the information display. They were using
Kigali's
the demo version
Rwanda
of
team,
the operating
capital city.
system to avoid paying a fee. At the scene of an accident that we saw.
This was on the border of Rwanda. While we were in Kigali, Rwanda in 1995, there was actually there was a lot of bloodshed in Burundi as well. In one particular time, some gunmen came in to a white United Nations cafe and rolled grenades all through the cafe and then shot up everyone that was in there and ran off. So they're even killing the only people that are there to help.
Oh, good grief.
The only people that go to these countries, team,
Yeah.
is journalists, okay, and UN normal workers.
Yeah, bless this guy for putting this on YouTube. Steve Bryce just had a really good comment. He said, what a sad situation being landlocked by Rwanda, Congo, and he thinks Tanzania.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, and Zaire just up there where, and Uganda where Idi Amin was as well. One of the sad things about it is Rwanda is actually considered the jewel of Africa. You know, it is absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Except when you're in the open air meat markets, watching bush meat getting put into buckets, etc. for people.
About street meat. I don't know if you do street meat.
Street meat. Here we go.
Yeah.
On our way to the hotel, a group of children were standing around the dog that had been hit by a car.
So they're waiting to eat that dog. They're just making sure no one claims the roadkill. That's also extremely common in East Timor. Okay, just to our north. That's not an uncommon thing. You know, almost all cultures eat dogs except the Western cultures.
And if we were hungry enough, we would too.
Yep, tastes like chicken.
We've got to stop pretending we wouldn't.
Yep.
The Republic of Burundi, the heart of Africa, is located in the Great Rift Valley, where East Africa meets the African Great Lakes. The surface area of the country is only 27,834 kilometers square. Although almost everyone is engaged in agriculture, for this reason, this geography, which has many mountainous areas, is unfortunately not enough to feed 12.5 million people. The most populous city, Bujumbura, has a population of 380,000 people. We are in the Buterere district in the center. The first striking detail is that there are children everywhere. The kids of the neighborhood are busy fishing. 65% of the country's population is under the age of 25 and
65% of the country is under 25. So that means whatever's happening today is what they will believe. There will be no history lessons. There is no schooling. You know, so your hope can only be when there is a glitch in the system and the white saviour complex goes in there and does what it does best. And that's make a difference despite the fact that those that do nothing will damn them for their actions.
Yeah, well said, because we need to get rid of that white saviour complex. We can't win. What, do you want us to do something? Do you not want us to do something? You know, what do you want us to do? Because we don't care what colour these kids are.
Yep.
We can see the dilemma of their mums and their dads and them, and it's nearly making me cry, because to think that someone would hate on you for going in there and fixing where they live is that's an evil thing.
And without making you sad, and this is not meant to make you feel good, just remember these people right now are living like this while we're watching this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
their tomorrows aren't going to get better.
But these people's lives, they wake up tomorrow and their main goal is to survive.
Yep. If you like these reaction sort of videos, team, I can pump these out on subjects that you don't know exist until I bring them to you. Let me do the walking with my fingers through the internet to find topics that can round off conversations, put a string on the bow, allow you to have worldly context, even if it's only 99% right because it came from my mouth, you know. But yeah. Here we go.
Saying he's seen some poverty. He did some missionary work. Bless you, Fugly, in the rural areas of the Philippines. Yeah.
Absolutely, and they've got ISIS over there too.
Yeah.
45% is under the age of 15. Only 3% are 65 years old or older. They don't have many toys to play with.
So
there are children spinning a tire with a stick, playing board games.
Welcome everyone, Jason here again. Got a great question.
So they had a plastic bottle as a toy.
Making toy cars out of plastic bottles and playing football with a hollow tire. According to the United Nations data published 10 years ago, the average life expectancy of the people was about 49 years.
49 years old is average life expectancy.
7.6% of the population have access to electricity. There are phone charging points in many neighborhoods.
You and me, gone.
I'm done.
Yeah.
There you go. They've got to go to the shop to get their phone charged. You picture a family of 8 where you're using charcoal to cook your food with. No, there's no medical. There is no hospital to go to, and you can't afford it if you went there. There's no contraception to stop you from having your 30th baby. Nothing. There's no answer other than...
There isn't. It's not a case of, you know, just don't have babies. You know, Like I said, there's no law and order. There's no way to control that. There's not hospitals, birth control. You know, these folk don't even have antibiotics.
Yeah, and they've killed all the animals. All the Central African animals are all gone, except for the gorillas because they bring in money.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Neighborhoods. Although the year 2021 is behind, most people in this country still do not use smartphones. Even the informational footages on the airplanes show images of old technologies. We are in a rice field in Buterere. Here are the farmers that try to feed Bujumbura city.
This is the place Bujumbura gets the rice from.
About 86% of the country consists of rural areas like this
questions
one.
down there
Almost
if you can,
90%
Tim, we'll
of
answer
the
them.
entire population's job is farming. We are on the move to see the home of an average farmer in the poorest country in the world, where almost everyone is a farmer.
Which means seasonal paychecks.
There are homeless people who have no choice but to get wet when it rains. We see a child taking a shower, taking advantage of the rainwater.
One of the ingenuitive things that they do in countries like Rwanda, Burundi, etc., is their car washes. You go down there and they'll drive your car into the river. And then they just rub sponges all over it and you pay them. You know, if you're ever going to go into one of these countries, you're not making a false economy by giving tips, by overpaying. Never haggle. It's not a game with them like it is in Bali or Thailand. You know, just give them some money for some work and understand when they look in your eyes, you know, don't expect them to look down and count the money because that could get them in trouble too.
Yeah, look, the whole nation needs to be fixed, right? The whole nation, you've got to kind of scrap the entire thing and start again.
Yep.
You have to, and this is going to sound bad, but you have to impose a Western kind of law and order there, just for those people to have the access to all the contraception and to healthcare and education.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
it sounds awful, and I hate people naming it that white saviour complex and that. No, it's or colonisation. No, it's us helping them. Hey, can we come here and live with you and share your land, and we'll bring what we've got to give, which is really great, and it'll keep you safe.
Well, they'd call it a stolen generation now if you said, okay, what we're going to do is start a program where kids have to be 4 years old, bring their sister with them, and adopt them as a scholarship. And then they go to Western countries and they get looked after. They'll be able to visit their families, you know, in another 10 years or whatever. But what they do is they go and get paid in Western countries and send money home. And if they did that to, 20,000 children, that would pick up the poverty rate there and create entrepreneurs who go back to help their homes. You know, that'd be another way of doing it as well.
Yeah. Exactly. And Mr. Buckaroo was worried about saying things that might sound racist. Don't worry about that. You're amongst friends here. Like
You're married to a lady of colour, mate, who's lovely.
So
You're fine.
As a policeman, as a prison guy, as an ADF veteran, you have an opinion, a valuable one on this, Mr. Buckaroony, and I think it would probably be a wise one. And like I said, we've already spoken pro-colonisation and white saviour complex. I think you're good. You say what you think. We want to know what people think because no one ever talks about it properly. And that's what we want to do, right? I'd never even heard of this place till you started a conversation with me about it.
Well, I'm so lucky that I've lived to the north of Burundi so that if anyone ever calls me out for the way I talk, I can say that I've been on every continent pretty much in the world. And I can say this is my lived experience. And what we're doing right now is having a communication that hopefully drops a rock in the water that spreads, okay, and the communication gets out that life can be a hell of a lot worse. And also you can help people with honesty. Only honesty helps, which is why the thumbnail, which has Meghan Markle and Harry in it, who do nothing for anyone, you know, it's
just a good symbol of that's not them in particular. We're talking about, you know, those folk who lord over everyone, telling us all what we should be doing.
Yep.
If they cut back from 16 bathrooms to 2, like most people with 2 kids, they could probably do a lot of help with these places.
And let's ask what Black Lives Matter just got caught doing. What do they do with their donation money? They just bought an $8.1 million mansion in Canada. That does not make sense. And it was from the ex-Communist Party, I believe. Okay, enough of that.
We can get in the house.
This guy's heart must hurt meeting the family.
Just one room?
There are 80 people living in this house. It means 80 children, 2 parents. This is their bed, this one.
So they just, spread it and sleep on it.
And they sleep on it. So they have another one, this is for children. So 80 children sleep on this.
Oh.
They took it from the garbage there.
These all 8 children belongs to her?
8
They're
children
lovely kids too.
Yeah. What is his name? How old is John?
58. He's a farmer.
How much does he earn per month?
Can artificial intelligence make you money?
We'll let this guy's ad play for a second because that goes towards his wages too for being a YouTuber.
Have you put the links to his
Yeah. Everything to do with all of the documentaries he's ever done are in the remarks below. Everything that he does is below, so you can find him. I'm going to go and check out his version of Patreon or whatever it is tomorrow, and I might actually.
Go give him a like, a thumbs up, or a subscribe.
Yeah. We've also got Daz has just had some great news. Daz is getting ready for a GoFundMe for his farm. You know, for those that don't know, Daz wanted to join the military, couldn't join the military because he had a scaffolding injury. He's a farmer now down in South Australia. He's growing a herd. And what he wants to do is not be the victim. He wants to grow this herd, but we need to get some cows in his field. Now, the price of cattle has absolutely skyrocketed, up to, in some cases, $5,000 for an adult cow. So we will donate the biggest donation to him, but we'll get that GoFundMe up. And for those that want to do a passive, sorry,
I just put a link for the Patreon in there too, which helps with the baby cows.
Thank you very much. And yes, it does. All right. Okay.
How old is the eldest son?
Sorry.
There's some good comments coming in.
Can you just let us know what they are?
Yeah, sure. If you're ready now. Yeah, okay. Mr. Buckaruni has said, and he said something which I totally get, I feel. He said, if I could, I would take 3 kids from there tomorrow and give them a fantastic life, even at my age. That actually hurt my womb as a woman, and it does. You know, I would, and if they were my children and I was in that situation, I would happily give them to Mr. Buckaruni because I know they would have a good life. What could I give them?
And that's one of the things that you would see if you watch the rest of this video, that the kids are actually for sale in the villages as well.
Yeah. Oh, God. Actually, and someone else had a very good comment, and I'm interested in it too, and it might be too much, but I'm going to ask it to you anyway. Let me just see if I could find it. Yeah, it was Sage asked, what about cannibalism?
I know that was a Ukraine thing. I don't think it's not. I don't think it's got to that stage. It is in some areas of Africa, but it probably depends on the decade, depends on the famine. You know what's going on.
Exactly, and it could be at any moment things could change. You know.
Remember, it is an agricultural country. You know, so they do eat eggplant or all these different turnips and filthy things you'd see on a vegetarian's plate.
Or mine.
I reckon villages, it gives you scurvy.
People are not getting paid properly. They're not profiting at all from any of that.
Well, one of the bigger problems is we've made it in the West illegal to make money from surrogate children, which has actually prevented some people. You know, they don't want to puppy farm humans. They don't want to do that. But these people, the amount of money it would cost to quarantine them, to clean their gut, to get them sorted out. But if you took on, for example, we'll use Mr. Buckaruni as an example. Yep. If he took on 3 of these children, guaranteed when they got to a certain age, that money would be flowing back to their village. And when that has happened in 1,000 different homes or 10,000 different homes, then that can actually bring up the living. And that's what Filipinos do really well, is they come over, love you, but take everything you've got and send it home. And so do South Americans. But that's because their family ethic is fantastic.
Which you can't fault that, really. Let's be honest.
Just buyer beware, but because they still want the Louis Vuitton bag as well.
Yeah, there's a good comment here from Thunder Chad. I don't think I've heard that name, but I really like it.
Sounds like a stripper.
Yeah. It says, I just wish we could educate people in fields of engineering for them to give those skills back to their own country that they should be proud about. And this is where education, some people go, oh, education's wasted on these sort of folk. It's not wasted on these kids. That's actually one of the ways we can solve this problem.
But the education can't happen there. They need to be taken away and educated, because the whole reason for big families is if you're in an agricultural mindset, it's as many people as you can get on the ground farming as possible, and that will in short term always seem like a better solution to what education looks like wasted money but keeps you in the poverty cycle.
Yep, exactly. And it's that cycle, isn't it? It's a catch-22. It's a vicious cycle.
Yep.
It certainly is. So did you want to watch more of the film?
Yeah, we'll watch a bit more.
What does he do now?
He has gone to garbages to collect different things.
Thank you for your time. What does he want to say to the camera?
There's
no anger on their faces.
In the name of Jesus. urakoze kubikoze mu izina rya Yesu.
John, who plants beans, is trying to take care of his family on a revenue of $10 a month. And all 10 members of the family sleep on the floor in the same room. They do not even have electricity in their homes. But John's situation is still better than the most other people we will be seeing shortly. It is possible to
That Mzungu, that is how they talk to, that means white person.
Right. Okay.
It's really weird. The kids love you. There's no jealousy. You know, there's no Mr. Brightside coming from these families, these children when they see you. It's open arms, it's curiosity, it's hope, it's can I have. But in between that, there is an absolute sense of humour that you would not expect from people that you would imagine, if they're under Western circumstances, would be an absolute victim no matter what you wrap them in.
Yeah, exactly. It really does put our silly little problems in perspective, does it not?
It does, but we'll slip back into our reality again tomorrow. But it's important to understand that this is occurring while we're
come across people everywhere in Burundi, which is the second most densely populated country in Africa. There are 451 people per 1 square kilometer, and more than 70% of these people live below the poverty line. 1 out of every 20 people dies from malnutrition or starvation. Currently, $1 is equivalent to approximately 2,000 Burundian francs. However, it is almost impossible to buy dollars at this price. One can provide some dollars from the black market, and $1 is converted to about 3,000 Burundian francs. So according to this, their most valuable banknote, 10,000 franc, is about $3.3. As today's technology is lacking in Burundi, the jobs that exist in other countries don't exist here. We are on our way to conduct interviews with professionals from various classes of society, including policemen or carpenter. A person who owns a bicycle is considered to have a profession in Burundi. These people...
Okay, so if you've got a bicycle in Burundi, you're classed as having a profession, because you can now market items, wheat, rice, bags, etc. But how much peddling can you do in a day? So that tells you now that if you went in there and started donating bikes to people, that's not just giving them money, because they'll have vice as well on top of all of this to release them from the pressures of their existence. But how many bikes can you give?
Yeah, exactly. It's eye-opening.
Yeah.
People try to hold on to life by carrying the products from the farmers to the markets.
It tells you.
Does he carry this load?
You're what, 32 kilometers
they
with bare
might
feet?
go and get back around
Daily?
9 hours. They went at 4 a.m.
They are barefoot. They don't feel pain in their feet.
In fact, they are taking them from another province, countryside.
Oh, shit.
What did you do?
They earn 3,000 per day, approximately 90 cents.
They earn good then compared to the other guys.
Yeah, but they work hard. Imagine riding from one province to another, lot of kilometers,
So 32
many
kilometer ride
hours.
for 90
they
cents.
also pay tax for that.
Bare
then they get
feet,
taxed.
torn clothes. These cyclists, who have to take care of a family with many children by earning 90 cents a day, risk their lives by traveling sometimes 100.
Question. Do you reckon anyone over there says, I don't need a man?
No, because they need one to survive.
Absolutely. If you're a woman in these countries, you don't have a man, you're dead.
Yeah,
Simple
I know
as that.
I would be.
Simple as that.
To 150 kilometers between cities for 10 to 12 hours every day. 200 kilograms load pushes bikes down at a speed of 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. Failure of the brakes against sudden pedestrians, vehicles or road bends, or tire bursts can lead to terrible...
It took him 10,000 eye surgeries.
You see a lot of that in Rwanda. When you go to big bends in the mountains, down the bottom will be dead bodies and bikes from where the people have got to use their bare foot as brakes on the piece of rubber that goes onto the tyre at the back, and as it heats up, they can't maintain the brakes, can't keep up with the corners, and then people wonder why Dad never came home.
It's so sad. Probably don't wonder. You tell me when you're ready for comments again.
Let's do another comment if we can.
Okay. Bugley has said something really good that I think you and I have spoken about before, because, Kaz and I, in case you didn't know, we try to solve the world's problems when we talk to each other. And Bugley said one problem with education, he said, at least from what he saw in the Philippines, is that people get educated, then use that to get the jobs abroad.
But I don't know any Filipino women that don't send money home.
Yeah, no, he's agreeing with you about that.
Yep.
Comment. He says all the educated people leave to better pastures and none stay to better the country. And he's right. Yeah, no, he's not arguing with you about that, nor is Mr. Buckrooney. He was talking about the Solomon Islands and they send it back. And I can't fault them for it.
Yeah, it's no different to Dad going and working in the mines in Australia and doing fly in, fly out. It's just instead of going for 2 weeks, they're going for 2 years.
Yeah,
exactly. I love the fact that other cultures don't forget their family back home.
I love that too. How come we, who have so much, take our families so much for granted, and yet these folk just would ride that far with bare feet, with a massive load on their bike to feed their extended family?
Well, there's a simple question for that. We'd do it too if the necessity was there.
If we had to.
You've got to remember, we've also lost over 108,000 Australian men who left Australia in relative or absolute peace to go abroad to the call of the Commonwealth to go and die on foreign soils. And it's necessity breeds different actions. And
they say that. They say, necessity is the mother of invention.
Yep.
Struggle for survival, people pushing their bikes uphill hold on to back of passing trucks to save energy and time. Some cyclists, on the other hand, cannot find something to hold on. They hang on the bike in front and the accidents are inevitable.
Is there a possibility of it becoming a tourist place one day?
No,
According to the highway authority, there are about 12,000 kilometers of roads in Burundi, but only 14% of it is asphalt. There are people washing their bikes in the puddle of mud that formed after the rain.
Has it got to be corruption?
Some people dry their...
Isn't that weird how they have nothing, yet it's still a priority to clean their bike?
Pride, a bit of dignity.
They wear collared shirts. They often tuck their shirts in Rwanda. It's the best dressed people. It's a really mind-blowing thing. Yet in Australia, we dress like
exactly.
like slobs, don't we?
We need a bit more dignity, I think.
Here we go.
Their rain-soaked clothes on an electrical transmission tower on the street because they don't have a home.
We are at the meeting and eating point of cyclists on a highway.
We'll speak for another couple of minutes on this, then we'll get back to you guys.
How much does she earn per month?
5,000 Burundian francs, which is around $1.50.
There you go. That woman sits there all day, every day, no day off, and makes $1.50 a month. So let's jump out of here. We just wanted to let you know this is Burundi, team. The poorest country in the world, voted the saddest country in the world.
Which breaks my heart.
Yep, but still is considered, by the people just then that we saw, they were quite happy.
But like Stephen Webb just said, they still have their dignity.
They do still have their dignity. Yeah. To have lived in these countries, not just visited but lived in them, it's it spins you out sometimes. To me, it feels normal. Okay, to have seen this, whether it be in East Timor, whether it be in Egypt, whether it be in Indonesia, whether it be in versions of developing countries in Bali and Thailand or the Sinai Peninsula. Pardon me.
Yeah,
it seems normal.
Absolutely. My life is changed forever, and for the better for the photos you've shared with me of the places you've been. The things you've done and the places you've been. We can't, and not just you, obviously. Yep. We can't quantify the difference that has made to the future.
Well, this is why we did this tonight, because we can't just stick on subjects that are about military and what we'd normally pick. I learnt a lot by listening to Joe Rogan. He won't get cancelled. He shouldn't get cancelled. I think he's awesome. But one of the things I found while listening to Joe Rogan is sometimes I would go, I don't want to listen to this one, it looks boring, but you put it on and it's got nothing to do with the title. You know, because what they do is he has an expert, whether it be a politician, whether it be someone who's medical, whether it's someone who's sportsman, whether it be someone who's musician, whether it's someone who's an entrepreneur, whether it's someone who's military, someone who's from the fighting sport. And then what they do is just talk about life.
And you know what, Dave D's just about made me cry.
What?
He mentioned like one of my favourite poems in the whole world, and he said, "Why does the caged bird sing?" And it answers it all, you know. That was a beautiful thing to say, Dave D. Let me know. Do you want some comments?
Yeah. We're not going to watch any more on that video tonight. That was an introduction to...
I'm so glad you did this. I'm so glad you did this.
Yeah, well,
this is important.
Well, I want people to watch the video.
Yeah,
it goes for half an hour. The comments are below, but I wanted to introduce it to you because it might be something that you push past if I don't.
Yep, and it's a different kind of reaction sort of video. You know, because Mr. Buckaroo was saying he's not a big fan of reaction videos, but your reaction videos aren't like other people's reaction videos. We like to talk about the meaty stuff, stuff that matters. And talking about Mr. Buckaroo, he said, we're too busy protesting about getting jabbed and flying the flag upside down at protests, and we do need a reality check, don't we, sometimes? We do.
Well, let's consider Australia at the moment. We've got Delegate, who is one of our subscribers, who right now... is trying his hardest to try and get some sleep, not knowing when he's going to sleep over the next 72 hours, which is the planning time to get to stage 3 of a defensive position. This guy doesn't know it yet. We're sitting here. He is about to work harder, guaranteed, than any other time he has ever worked in his life.
Yeah, he's really going to have to pull into himself and pull it all out, isn't he?
Yeah, his hands, he will not even be able to close them. You know, I've got like arthritis in my hands now from digging, from boxing badly, and all these sort of things. But he's about to find out a pick and shovel is not the way to do it. You need to get on your knees. That's what she said. Get the entrenching tool. And I'm not talking about someone who got over the Rio Grande, the ET, and you need to get that job done.
Yeah, exactly. And also on that kind of news, Corey Lancaster has said he's off to Kapuka on the 26th of April.
That's the day after. That's 2 days after Kapiong Day, battle honour for 3rd Battalion in Korea, and the day after Anzac Day, which is the day I turned 51.
Your birthday, yeah.
We're going to call that the month of Area 51.
Yeah, that's a great time. So he's what are you calling that intake? You know how you're giving them all different names.
That'll be Anzac platoon, won't it?
What I was thinking. And he's going in as a combat engineer. So I thought I'd just throw that in while we were talking about that.
Yep. Hard work.
This is a good question, Jay Hayes. You know what? I'm not actually a fan. It's about international aid. Now I don't
corruption.
know.
It's all corruption.
Yeah, that's my problem. Is that if we send our humanitarian aid like we do, and we do to a lot of places, I think we should be allowed to get an audit of the results.
You'll never get it because it's corrupt as hell. And I keep forgetting, I've got a shitload of experience with that as well. When we go overseas and we're around UN, we're around, what do you call it? All of your UNICEF, they collect money off you, etc. When we go over there, you might see some tents given, and there are some angels. There really is some real angels that go there that probably walk back going, this was not what I thought. I thought we were here to help people, when the majority of the time it's people having an endless summer and going over there and partying, sleeping with each other, not going anywhere near the people because they might have something bacterial disease or something wrong with them, or the fact that they stink like shit. But that's because often their sweat and also what they eat, etc., unwashed clothes, all of those sort of things.
Yeah. Good night, Steve Bryce.
See you later, Brycey. Thanks very much for the yellow cow, my friend.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Mr. Buckaroo said, no, Mr. Buckaroo's on fire tonight because he gets it, you know. He said it's like P&G where they sell beetle nut. Oh, is that the thing that makes their teeth and...
Yeah, looks like they've all been eating Nutella.
gosh.
And they spit. They just continually spit.
Yep, on the side of the road for about 20 cents each, and that's their job. And I wonder how far does that 20 cents go in that country? Probably not as far. People might think, oh, that'll go a long way. Maybe it doesn't. We don't know.
Well, Deadpool / Robin, when he was in Somalia, he's talking about NGOs there, the NGOs, non-government organisations. They've also caused the massacre that happened in Rwanda while we were there because they told the people to stay. You'll be right. Kept feeding them, kept giving them shelter. When the government says if you stay any longer, you're done. And do you know what they did? The NGOs got out of there and let the refugees get the horns. They weren't refugees; they were displaced people because they were still inside the border. Sorry, I better get my my jargon correct. For someone that will only see hatred in what I'm talking about tonight rather than trying to spread a message.
It happens with everything. You could be showing puppies, you'll get hatred.
Damn those puppies. Tastes like chicken.
Yeah, hey, well, for those people, they needed that dog, okay? And if it's just roadkill, then let them at it. You know?
In America, it's quite common. There's restaurants that put roadkill in there where the deers get hit. You've actually got tickets where you put it on there to say that's mine now.
Yeah, exactly. Look, my nana always said, "Waste not, want not." It's the truth.
Except when a relative dies in the lounge room.
Yeah, you don't know my family.
Finger licking Fred.
Yep. Mr. Buckaroni said, Miss Buckaroni's just saying the most amazing comments tonight. I came across a village in East Timor where the kids had fat bellies like Africa. Oh, that gets me. Yep. And it's also their mouths, when you can tell when they're malnourished. I got AusAid to get an M126 full of rice and flour up to them. Bless you, Mr. Buckaroni.
That's it. Look, when you see the common deeds that are done by soldiers on the ground, I would say soldiers' occupation in foreign countries tend to do more than NGOs, more than aid agencies, etc. Yep. Because we win, part of our mission when we go over is to win friends and influence people to win hearts and minds. That's part of our thing. We get our safety by making friends with the children who give us tip-offs when we're in danger.
And they love it. Whenever I sent care packages around Christmas time, I always included little just giveaway toys, little giveaway lollies.
We don't mean ladies' top drawer toys.
Yeah, no, we don't. And whichever soldier I was sending them to had a great time with the kids, just passing them out like they were Santa, and it was great. They were great little moments. But it was, it's heartbreaking. Can I just mention a story that a veteran told me, and I won't say their name.
Yep.
They have a lot of trouble when they got back with their own children, just complaining about normal things that normal children would complain about, like, oh, I don't like that, or I don't like sausages, or I don't want that, because they'd had to watch children crawling over barbed wire to get to a tip for food. Absolutely
true. Who are you talking about, Adam? Who are you wondering who's served overseas?
Oh, there's heaps of people.
You've got a lot of veterans in this chat right now that have all served overseas, mate.
Deadpool, you're talking about Kaz, you've got Jackie who's lurking around. Steve Bryce just left. I mean, how many do you want?
Carl P just got away from the in-laws.
Yeah.
Hope he's well. He's about to go to Kapuka himself.
Hi, Daz.
Yeah, it's when you come back and sometimes you feel unloved by your own children. You're going, dude, I had kids that would run up and just hang around me. Young Bernadette that used to stand beside me and not say anything, just stand beside me because she knew she was safe. And then you come home and you feel like you can't get a hug or a kiss off your own kid. Everything you say is, I don't know. It feels like it's never enough.
He's talking about you, apparently. Kaz, would you like to just fill him in on your deployment history from overseas?
Adam,
he must be new.
Yeah, if you're new, mate, mate. I'm a 24-year veteran, and that doesn't mean I worked with animals, pat a fair few. I've been on 4 different operations. One over to the Middle East, with the Sinai Peninsula, over between Egypt and Israel. And also a couple of times to Timor, including the very first trip. And then over in Rwanda in 1995. I've never been in the army for it to be about violence. I've been about adventure, and I think Australians do a fantastic job. The problem is our politicians don't send us over there with a menu to win. Okay, all the travel I've done across the world has all been basically off your dollar. While I was on operations, then continuing to tour, whether it be through Europe, whether it be through Africa, whether it be through Asia, whether it be through America. It's been an absolutely amazing life I've had, whether it be the tombs of Egypt or whether it be Masada of Israel or whether it be gorillas in the mist in Central Africa where Dian Fossey lived. All of these places, and all because I joined the military. I never thought that I'd be jumping out of helicopters. I didn't think that I'd be travelling on super huge Russian choppers in East Timor with loadmasters wearing a nappy, and that's it. I didn't know I'd have malaria beside my best friends. I didn't know the girls that would come and the girls that would go, or the fact that my daughter would be born on a Remembrance Day. All of these things was about following my dad's footsteps, and absolutely, I hope that you get to have a military career without ever having to administer violence.
Yeah. Or if you've had one, we don't know. Maybe you've already had one. If you have, let us know. We love our collection of veterans here because, it always adds to. There's always more questions than Kaz can answer.
Yeah.
So you can answer if you are a proper veteran and you can answer someone's question, relevant question. Go for it.
Yeah, and like we said at the start of this one, g'day Ollie. That's a nice name, mate. Ollie Damo. That sounds like a good name.
Yeah. Amiga as well. He's new and he's just young, and we were just telling him to check out the back catalogue because he's 17, hoping to be in infantry.
Okay.
That's
That's Adam. Absolutely fine, mate. And we are an open book, mate. I'm surprised we've been on here for over 6 years, mate, that you haven't heard of us already.
We're a bit shadow banned.
We've also lost our first channel that got hacked by someone who was trying to feed their family in Asia. And YouTube didn't help. But all the little conversations we have, they make a difference. And that's why I say to people, when you come to this channel, what we give you is freedom of speech. Because you get to come on here and without doing the thumbnails, without doing the research, without creating anything, you get to come on here, subscribe for free, tick a bell so you know to be here. And then you get to come on and communicate on a platform where you can do anything.
Yeah. You're amongst friends here. We talk about we'll talk about anything. You'll know if you've crossed the line. We talk about anything. You're amongst friends here. We won't take you wrong, and we would enjoy your input.
Absolutely.
The family. So welcome. If we haven't said welcome to you before.
Yep. And for anyone that wants or needs more from the channel, you can find us on Patreon. It's not like Facebook, but what it does allow you to do is have a one-on-one mentor before, during, and after your career via the bat phone.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, and it's good, and it also helps people doing that. In fact, Guardian is quite right. There's a lot of new names here tonight, and you know
Fantastic.
What? I'm really proud of you all for being here at this stream, because this is what it's all about. This is what your job was about, right?
Yep.
These people.
Our life is meant to be. If I was to ask you a question straight up to your face, just like we'd say to if I was someone of worth, if I was to meet a girl now, and I'd be thinking in my mind in a date, what do you bring to the table? Yeah. Am I going to be a net positive by knowing you? What about if we looked at this as the macro, not the micro, not what you do for your family, but what you do for the world? Go, is the world a better place because you're here? Are you good to animals? Do you provide to others? Do you butt in where it's required? Do you have the moral courage to say, no, that's not going to happen on my watch? Do you go out when there's a scream in the night? If you saw someone and you had enough money to buy a packet of cigarettes, or you saw someone who was from this video, would you say, okay, I'll suffer for a day and let them have half a year's wages. You know, if the answer is yes, then you're doing everything that you're supposed to in this life, just making it better for those that are in your orbit. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Inconspicuous daddy, every time I see that.
That's a great name. By the way, I actually need to thank you for all the great dating advice you've been giving me lately. So you're good at that.
Thank you. We spoke about prunes as well. For those that don't know, Lauren potentially has met the man of her life today. We won't know that yet, but today is the first day.
I'm feeling good about this one. I'm feeling really good about it.
Yep.
And you're a great wing man, so it's good.
And he's only got 3 years left of his sentence.
Come on, don't be silly. Anyway, I'm really glad you did this video, though, because like I said, I had never even heard of these people. I thought Rwanda and, you know, from what I've heard about Somalia and all that, I thought this is awful. This must be like hell on earth for these folk compared to how we live, right? There's no perfect system, but when you compare it, we must look, some of the world's richest people, like the Hollywood people who say they're so philanthropic, must look disgusting compared to these.
Look, yes and no, but to be the flip side, the arbiter of it, they say don't just give money to people because they won't appreciate it. G'day, Stubbs, I see you there, mate. And Space Ninja, we can hear you coming in your moccasins.
Yeah.
You can't just go into these places and start dishing out US currency. They'll kill each other or potentially even kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, there is a way to give them the money. There is a way to elevate, to create a project that then starts to harvest money for them.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sure everyone here would give money to these people if they could see them face to face and know they're not going to get ripped off.
How do we help them? Do they need electricity? Do they need, like what you had a great idea yesterday? Do they need a school bus? What do they need that we could help with?
Well, sadly, school is the last thing they need there. You know, it's they need to do schooling away from that country. You know, other than reading, you know, they need to be able to do it away from that country that actually is going to go towards a job because their hands are all needed to make that $1 for the family a day. You know, and that's where sponsorship through some sort of agency, but it always comes down to corruption. You know, people don't trust. You know,
Yeah, exactly right. You know, and that's a problem also when they migrate to countries like ours, getting people to trust that our police aren't like the police you might be to. You know, it's a big problem. So it's...
And what happens when you go to, and you do this for Burundi, and then Tanzania beside them goes, but what about us? And then Zaire says, what about us? And Rwanda says, what about us? You know?
How to prioritise these things. I just want to start seeing results from some of these, you know, like the Gates Foundation. I want to see the actual audit of the results. The Clinton Foundation, show me the audit of what you've done in Haiti and why are the kids still eating dirt.
Now, that is the biggest one I'll never get. You know, the billions of dollars that have been tax written off in Haiti, yet their way of living has gone backwards.
Why are their kids looking forward to their daily dirt biscuit with a pinch of salt in it?
How can we be lovers if we can't be friends?
Yeah, that's, you said it all.
Guys and gals, we're here to offer solutions. We're here to offer answers. We come in and we speak from the heart, from wisdom, you know, if in the absence of IQ at times.
Yeah, sometimes we just got questions, you know, but they might be the same questions you've got.
Well, that's this video, this guy, I love the fact that he's gone over there by himself and chosen action.
I love that too. I am going to go to the link in the description below and I'm going to go give him a subscribe and a like on his videos.
Absolutely. You know, and he might be one of those guys, you know, he clearly takes on a lot of projects.
Yeah, bless him, but he's there on the street, you know, he's there amongst the folk.
Yeah.
You know, That's the difference. This is a great stream, Kaz. Thank you for doing this.
That's all right. We care about the people. We care about the kids, and if anything, if this gives back to you, what it could do is put your own troubles into perspective tomorrow. You know.
Yeah. Just remember, folks. You know, you stub your toe or you have a little drama. Just think, you know, praise God, I don't live in Burundi. All but the grace of God that any of us could have been born there. It's like a lottery.
It is, and in the next life, you might be.
Exactly. So we never know what happens. So if you're a praying person, pray. If you're a gazillionaire watching this, for heaven's sakes, do something practical.
I had a good conversation with Robin last night. He's talking about funny the world can generate $1 billion in a few days when the Notre Dame burnt down. Yeah, and I don't reckon that was an accident, mate.
Yeah, we got to get our priorities right.
Yep.
Are you going to get a Da Vinci Code on me with that?
No,
we got to get our priorities right, don't you think?
Yeah.
You know what I'd rather spend that money on? Like feeding these kids, inoculating these kids.
Yep.
Let's actually get some wells and some, you know, wind generators or solar generators, or let's just get them infrastructure, please. And get the corruption out of there if we can, which we can't do. Anyone who's anti-armies and things like that from the Western world, you must hate these people, even if you don't know it. Because who do you think gets rid of the corruption? Who do you think makes it safe for, like, Medical Sans Frontier to get in there?
That's right.
They don't soldiers of themselves. They need protection.
We just got a sorry, my eyes can't read that.
Lilith. What a beautiful name, Lilith.
Lilith.
Yeah, Lilith.
It sounds like someone who prances through gardens.
Yes, Lilith.
With petals
through
falling.
A meadow.
Mate,
thank you, Lilith.
Nutsu Cow, thank you very much for the donation there, mate. And we'll see that as metaphorically that is gone to these lovely people, and we do help people on a daily basis.
We do. And she said, thanks, team. Appreciate the reality check. Oh, no, we appreciate that you are here, because this isn't easy to watch, but sometimes we've got to do that, don't we? Sometimes the harder something is to look at, the quicker we should look at it.
Yeah, it is. And who knows, Lilith, tomorrow, the conversation that you can have, like, it'd be very easy to go and watch this online, but feel like you're in an echo chamber where no one can hear you. You're watching something, but tomorrow no one's going to care beside the drink machine. But when you come to a video and you go, I watched some people that did a reaction to a country called Burundi, which I didn't know was taken out the poorest country and the unhappiest country for 62 years running. Wow. Do you know where that is? I didn't know where it was. It's in Central Africa, just below Rwanda.
I'd never even heard of it till you mentioned it to me. Was it yesterday or the day before? Never even heard of it.
Well, now you know.
Yeah, no, it has been a great live feed. I agree with you, Miss Buckaroni. It was an important one, it feels like, you know, and one of those little ripples, a conversation starter. So go talk to people about Burundi.
Yeah, and if we can get some thumbs up there for Lilith too, thanks, mate.
Yeah, indeed.
That's not your first time here, I don't think, is it?
I don't know. Let us know if you've been here before, Lilith, because I don't remember the name. I thought I would, because it's a nice name.
Yeah, and I'd like to say the little boy on the screen, remember, he's actually from the video.
I saw it when I saw
I've just
his
put him
face.
in there. Let's
And you know what? They don't look like they're looking at this person. What was the name for white person?
Mzungu.
He's not looking at that Mzungu like, you're going to help me. He's just existing. And that's what those eyes say to me, and that's killing me.
Yep. They look at you with hope, and then they sometimes look at you with, you're just another one that came and then left.
Yeah.
You know, but they don't understand that you've come from a Western country, and sometimes you see NGOs, sometimes they do go over and they hug every child. You go, you've got to be goddamn careful, mate. There's hepatitis in these countries and different viral things that these people can have. You wouldn't imagine.
Yep, tuberculosis, the plague, we're talking literal plague here, and these folk have it bad, and you do have to be careful.
Yeah. And look, Megan thinks she's black. You go, come on, mate. Yeah.
I actually didn't know that until someone said it in the media.
Yeah. Anyway, well, that's going to be a wrap for tonight, team. We're going to get out of here. And to Delegate, who starts his defensive operations tomorrow with Bin Barbertoon at the School of Infantry, I can't dress this any better to you than other than to say your life is going to suck and you're about to learn a lot about yourself, about your friends. You're going to get pushed to the limit. It's going to suck, you know. But it's one step closer to the Skippy badge that can only be earned with calories. And mucho respecto to everyone was here. Remember, we're on this world for a very short period of time. Even when Michael Jackson died, he was in the news for 1 week only. So enjoy your life, enjoy your family, and remember, wealth comes from those who call you friend, not from the thickness of your wallet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what we're here for, and this feels like one of those streams that's kind of hit me in the heart. You know, I'm feeling both inspired and sad about it.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, it is, but it's a good one. So thank you, community, for all being so awesome.
Yep.
And everyone stayed on topic because it's a topic that's important. It's hard to be talking about rubbish when you look at this, isn't it?
Yep. And Adam, all the best for your service too, my friend, and welcome to the channel. And there's nothing wrong with holding my feet to the fire at all. No dramas at all.
Exactly. Welcome, Zed.
Never feel bad for your service, mate, because I don't know who you locked horns with, but maybe you made the life better for someone that didn't know that one day they were going to be the victim of someone that you said, not on my watch, dickhead, in English.
You guys are the good guys. You're the good guys. And Adam, you may never know the difference you have made. And if you've made a difference to one kid, you have your job is done. You've already gone above and beyond. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lilith is a long-time listener. We love our long-time listeners.
We do.
Listeners. We love them, and we especially love it when you come in the chat and say, "G'day, we hope to see you again."
It almost sounds New Zealand.
You're in love with this name, Lilith. Lilith, are you single? Because Kazzie's looking.
I've already said I'm half blind, but so they've blown me chances. Okay, guys and gals, take it easy. We'll be back on Friday. I'm probably going to do a couple of reaction videos despite the fact that Mr. Buckaroo doesn't like them.
No, he stayed the whole time. He liked it. He loved it. He thanks the stream. See, I think you've changed his mind. I understand the reaction videos he doesn't like. You're not just making money off this dude's content. It's you actually reacting to what this guy said, and this guy had a good message.
He has got a good message, and hopefully his message continues to get down, and all we've done is try to extend that message. We dropped the rock into the water. Now you know, Burundi, cheapest, saddest country in the world. Maybe, because the kids still look pretty happy, and I think their parents are doing the very best they possibly can.
Yeah, exactly. If they can have dignity, we can too. So look after yourself tomorrow.
And you know what? There is families worse off in Australia where young kids that are innocent are living in homes where no one hears them scream.
Yep.
So don't always think that life in Australia or the Western world is going to be perfect either. We have our ears open to the plight of all.
Yeah.
Deadpool, go and do your job. Clean those filthy streets.
That was so funny.
See ya.